Welcome to Las Vegas. We're here in the Batcave, the home of GIF. Check this guy out. Niko Ollie Walsh. Remember the name. The reason why? There it is right there, the grandson of the great, the GOAT, Muhammad Ali. Niko, for UK fight fans that may not have heard of you before, let us know where you are with your own career.
Well, I'm an amateur boxer. I started only 5 years ago, which is a very short amount of time in the boxing world, as you know. But I'm just looking to learn, hopefully go pro at the end of this year, which is a big step for me. And I'm just excited to keep boxing and learn.
I guess with the family name and the pedigree that you've got, a long spell in the amateurs wouldn't really suit, because you would have one hell of a target on your back, wouldn't you?
I've had around 16 fights, which is nothing in the amateurs. People have hundreds. My grandfather had 100 himself. But every single fight I've had, they announced me as being so-and-so's grandson, and it's awful. And everybody knows, everybody finds out, and I do have a target on my back. And every time I've lost, people are like, oh, I got to beat Muhammad Ali's grandson. And, it's something I have to get over as time goes on, but it's definitely worse in the amateurs, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Your grandfather's that on your mother's side, is it? Your father's side?
My mom's side, yeah. My mom's the twin daughter of my grandfather. It's her and Jamela are the two twins. We were just all so close to him. And he got to see me fight, not in person, but every time I was with him, he would watch my sparring videos, my hitting the pads with GIF and stuff. So, I'm very happy that he got to see it while he was still here,
You showed us some video earlier of you playing a magic trick and your grandfather reacting and stuff like that. Yep. Obviously, he was well known for his magic tricks and entertaining children when he was.
I didn't even know that. Because with me, it's just my grandfather. I don't know about all this extra stuff until now. As I grow older, I learn about it. But I grew up teaching him magic tricks because I didn't know that he was into magic himself. But my whole family would love to do magic tricks. But I was the main magician in the family. I was.
When you decided to pursue whether it was a career in boxing at the time or simply just the sport of boxing, what was your grandfather's response?
I was expecting him to say, don't do it. He told Layla was a boxer, my aunt. She was a boxer. He didn't want her to box. Yep. She was too pretty to box. He didn't want his daughter to box, and I could see that. So when I went to him with it, I was expecting him to say the same thing, saying I wouldn't do boxing. It's dangerous, that kind of thing. But he was accepting. He gave me advice on it, and he was really glad that I was boxing.
I think a lot of people watching this may remember Muhammad in the later stages of his life not really being able to communicate too much, but you're telling us completely different stories that he was able to communicate.
Yeah, you know what? With Parkinsons disease, that's what he had. It's a flip of a coin. One day he could be up talking, saying full sentences clearly and great, and then the next day he doesn't want to talk as much, and it's something that he can't really control. My mom does research in that stuff, so that's how I know so much about it. But I remember in his last couple years being here, he was very talkative with me, and I've got a lot of it on video. So these are memories that I'm so thankful to have, really.
Absolutely. Can you remember any key advice that he gave you?
Absolutely. I've got video proof of the advice I'm about to tell you. I asked him when I first started off, before my first amateur fight, I said, do you have any advice for me? Like what makes a boxer? And he said, road work, eating right, and moving and dancing. That was his number one thing. He said moving and dancing. So I've been trying to follow that advice ever since, honestly.
I imagine your grandfather in today's boxing field would have been a huge fan of Lomachenko, no?
Absolutely. Love Lomachenko, but I honestly, I know that one of his favorites before he passed away was Manny Pacquiao. And how can you not love Manny Pacquiao with all he's done with outside of the ring? So he would love Lomachenko. He would love Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Crawford, these big names in the sport. He would love these guys, you know.
One key question I would generally always ask young fighters looking to make their own legacy in the sport, who their biggest inspiration was. Obviously, I don't have to ask you that question, but do you go back now and watch a lot of tape of your grandfather and see what he did? Obviously, he was a different weight division, but you can see how he changed the game.
You know, I watch film. I try to study film and say, like, here's how I'm gonna box. I watch Lomachenko, I watch Terrence Crawford, and I'm like, I try to take stuff from them. When I watch my grandfather, it's like watching a movie. You know, he puts his hands down and dances. That's stuff that I'm not supposed to emulate. So I watch it for pure entertainment purposes, not to try and mimic what he does, because it's just impossible, honestly.
You're in a real tough situation here because, as you say, it's impossible to really build up a lot of amateur experience because of the family name. So turning pro has got to be the right time, the right opponents, the right direction. Obviously, you're with Giff, who's probably forgotten more about boxing than most coaches even know, which is a great help. But how do you launch this career in 2020, and which direction are you going to go in regarding management, promoters?
Well, I know that the most important thing is to have the right people around you, and I know that right now I have the right people around me, and they'll be doing the heavy lifting in terms of promoter or who I'm fighting. That's stuff that I really don't have to worry about. They'll say fight this guy, I'll fight this guy. I don't care about record. I don't care about any of that. I'm honestly just going into boxing, trying to have a quick career with it, fight the best, be the best, and get out as soon as possible.
What weights will you be fighting at?
Right now I'm 180, so I'm assuming that I'll be fighting light heavy or maybe middleweight.
Could you do 168 super middle?
I could do that. Yeah. But I just turned 19, so I've got a lot of growing to do. And I just recently shot up in weight as late as 2 months ago. My last fight was at 55. I'm 180 now, so I don't know. Time will tell, I guess.
How does your family and your mother feel, obviously, about you pursuing a professional career, bearing in mind, your grandfather was struck down with Parkinsons, and, more than likely that was related to the fact that he boxed on for so long. How does the family feel?
My family hates it. They do. We all fear there's multiple people in my family that have Parkinson's still. My grandfather's brother has Parkinson's, and he wasn't a boxer. So it's a neurodegenerative disorder, and it's got something to do with, like, it's inherited, I guess. Genetic. So, and every time we would say, or someone would say to my grandfather, boxing gave you Parkinson's, he would say, name me another boxer with Parkinson's, And he's got a good point. So it definitely probably initiated it in some way. So we're all fearful of that, but my grandfather was my biggest supporter when it comes to me boxing.
And is that what you kind of hold on to whenever you speak to your mum about it? Because you must have frequent conversations with your mum about when you won't come in with a black eye or a bloody nose,
Yeah, I mean, any mom is afraid of what their son's doing. If their son comes back with a bloody nose, they're protective, She's my mom, so. But I hold on to the fact that my grandfather wanted me to do this. He wanted me to be great. I want myself to be great, which is the most important. And hopefully everything will go right, and I'll walk out healthy, and everything will be great.
What's the long-term aspiration, Niko? Where does this journey end for you? Is it a world title? You thinking that high?
No, my eyes are to be champion of the world one day, and honestly, that'll just be an accolade for myself. And once I reach that, I think I can pursue other things other than boxing.
What would be the first thing you did with that belt? Would it be to go visit your grandfather's grave, or?
I don't know. It's the belt wouldn't be the material belt might not be such of an important thing as knowing that I did it. I think that would be most important to me, honestly.
Do we have a time frame on your pro debut? Will it be this year?
God willing, it will be at the end of this year, if everything goes right.
Sensational.
Yeah.
Niko, pleasure. Good luck,
so
man.
much.
Catch up
Thank
again
you.
soon.
Thank you.
Take care.